And I don't think that's
No, that's
something
believe me, that's not the right trend.
right.
In the end of the day, there's no way government's going to operate as effectively as you do. So that's just so. A couple of comments. You talked about there being 30 bills. I mean, one of my surprises as a new governor was the sheer number of bills. I mean, this year there was.
I appreciate your comments.
Right.
Right.
And one of the things you learn is a lot of those bills are introduced, and you know the chances of those ever going anywhere are slim to none.
Yeah.
But I do think it's important to to focus the number of bills that come up. Like I said, we have a really hard-working legislature.
Sure.
That does so much really well. So, but we've encouraged them. Well, let's see if we can bring some focus on that, and then have discussion on those things that really matter. On the issue you brought up, that was basically a legislature-led effort in terms of the deal that you spoke with there. That we really didn't. I don't think we really weighed in one way or the other on that one.
Right.
Beyond the public notices issue, there are other access type things.
Yes, sir.
Several bills relating to gun registration, for instance.
Right.
Close the record on this, close the record on
Right.
that type of thing, and those things are always birds under our saddle.
Yeah, yeah.
That red flags with us.
We generally want to keep things as open and transparent as possible, and including incomes and things like that of governors.
And I can understand that, and they've had that discussion.
Set the tone a little bit, but
I think the key thing, and believe me, I understand where you come from, and I think that's right. I mean, when you take on a public job and a public role, you realize that the public should have access to all those things in the decision-making process.
Definitely.
I think that's the key thing.
Right.
And so in the example you brought up, I thought it was important that, as somebody in office or running for office, you should know everything I have an investment in, right? And every source of income. I think that's really important. I don't think the amount is material. I don't think that changes. You either have an investment in something or you don't. And so I think listing that is really clear. Like I said, my argument would be the amount of that shouldn't matter as much. But I think it's really interesting being in public office. You want people to have as much information exposure so they understand things as you can. There are times though when you want to make certain that doesn't actually restrict better government, which if you're not careful, there can be some times when that happens.
Yeah, like you're trying to get Hemlock to come here or something. And,
that's a great example. So
and I think people understand that.
Right.
That you don't want to scare them off or something like that.
Right.
But as much as possible, we push toward open records.
And we appreciate that. And I think it's having been a mayor for 7 years and governor now for a half a year.
Yeah, Jay McElroy said, "Say hello."
Yeah. and so we have. You understand actually how important that is. It actually sometimes it goes the other way. I think people in public office are saying there are some really important discussions and issues happening here, but that's not what people are paying attention to.
Right.
And so I think maybe it could go both ways in terms of the press and those of us in office.
Sure.
Having a little bit more of a dialogue about here's what's really happening in that decision-making process.
Right.
And don't get distracted by this other thing. This is really these are the key issues facing us in state government.
Well, I know you've got a year under your belt now, and I'm hoping you can help us with as you've already have in some comments you've made for the legislature, in helping maybe rein in a number of bills being considered or whatever, which will only help us some. But so I appreciated that.
Well, and actually, we've actually only been here 6.5 months.
You're right.
But people tend to
first legislative session.
People tend to mark things in legislative sessions. One of the points I've made, and maybe I didn't make it as clearly as I could, is this: as governor, what happens in the legislature is actually a small piece of what my responsibility is. We've got, the state has 45,000 employees. We're doing everything from helping families that have mental health issues to building roads to managing prisons to educating 4-year-olds, educating PhD students. The diversity of issues that come before us is really immense. And so my job really, part of it is the policy that happens in the legislature. What it really is making certain that I've set up the government so we provide great service to all those people who count on the state, whether it be for, health care, or for helping, like I said, a family, a child in foster care. I mean, all those different things. It really is about delivering great service. And
Right.
sometimes I get a little frustrated. People think, oh, well, the legislature's out, so you're done.
Yes,
Well,
nothing to do for a while.
Yeah, but when it really is like, well, this is really when we can hit our stride, whether it's doing what we're doing today, out recruiting business to Tennessee, or working on delivering a better education program.
You mentioned healthcare, and I wanted to mention one other thing. We've got a wonderful medical community here, sort of
Right.
a medical hub for the area. And that's, Bethel College down the road in McKenzie is cooperating with our
I just
hospital.
heard that this
Yeah.
morning. I hate that.
Isn't
That
that
was
great?
Yeah.
They're coming here, and they're going to build a couple buildings and have some classes here and work with our
Is it a
hospital.
nursing program they're doing?
Yes.
Okay.
It's
Good.
primarily a nursing
Well,
program. It's going to be a satellite for a lot of the testing. Will
Yeah.
be moving from the hospital to across the street, and so we'll be looking for connecting help on. We'll need a traffic light
Right.
there to help out. We're going to be talking about we need an overhead walkway to instead of. Or sidewalks enough to get us across the
Yeah.
street safely.
But one of the reasons we're doing what we're doing today, and we'll be doing the same thing tomorrow, we're kind of in the middle part of kind of Putnam County or Wilson County area of the state, is in going out you learn a lot. Okay, and whether it's, Bethel's doing this new nursing program with a local hospital, or here's a business that's thinking about expanding, or here are the local issues around education. And so it's kind of part of the purpose. I told somebody this morning, I spent 2 years campaigning for this job, and I'm really, really grateful to have it. I love being governor of Tennessee. It's about the best job there could be.
Good.
But the 2 years of campaigning is not necessarily the most fun process in the world. But
necessary.
But it is,
Yeah.
because you it's not just necessary so that you can get the most votes. It's
To learn.
You learn so much in the process that makes you so much better than you'd be without it. And we want to make certain that now that we're in office, we're not just stuck in Nashville.
Right. And we appreciate, we're honored that you have come to the PI.
Well, thank you for letting. Like I said, sorry to make it a short visit. We'll
Well,
have to
but
come back sometime.
Sure, we'd love to have you back anytime. And we want to make sure we let folks here know things. We're just going to be on our website.
That'll be perfect. Well, thank you for like I said, for what you do. I'll say this in the end. Sometimes people think there's a naturally antagonistic relationship between people in office and the media, and I actually don't think that. I think when it works well, the process of having information that gets out with an editor, which has a real benefit in today's mostly unedited world.
Right.
I think, and help people understand the real process involved. I think most folks while we don't always agree, I think we see it as it's a net gain for what we're trying to do.
Well, we certainly hope that you don't think of newspapers as hostile towards you in general.
Nope.
The legislature sort of thought that, and we're not as, I guess I think most of us are all Democrats or something, but most of us are small businesses, and a
That's
lot
right.
of us are quite conservative.
That's right.
And,
I always, the last word I'll just say is, to me, folks who run their own business and have to balance the books, etc. We might disagree on some political issues, but in the end, we agree on the fundamentals.
Absolutely.
Because you only
Absolutely.
spend what you bring in, no matter how good an idea it is.
All right.
Thank you all very much.
Governor,
I
sir.
appreciate it. Good to
Thank
visit
you.
with you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks very much.
As you go out the door, I've got one